Hi, I'm Drew.
And I'm Sam.
And welcome to Drewling Samantics.
Hello, mate, we're back!
We're back!
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, anyone who is tuning in, welcome. If you're joining for the first time, welcome. If you're coming back, welcome back to Drewling Samantics, which is, Drew, one of the top 50 UK Sunday podcasts, according to FeedSpot.
I think you need to explain this. It's brilliant, mate. It's brilliant.
Yes. So, hello, everyone. Welcome back, or welcome to Drewling Samantics. I'm Sam. This is Drew. We are jobbing actors who, during the second lockdown, got a bit bored, created a podcast, and somehow haven't managed to stop yet. So,
Season 16, Sam. Season 16 we're starting.
16 we're on.
How about that?
But yes, so if you are listening to us, this is my voice. I'm the young, more attractive half. I'm of normal person size, and then the other dulcet tones you can hear belong to my short, elderly companion. Companion? That's weird.
That's just weird. Yes, that yes.
Yeah.
Podcast partner. Colleague.
Co-host.
Yes.
There we go.
Yeah, co-host. There we are. Co-host.
Yes. But yes,
Yeah.
we are Drew and Sam. We make up Drewling Samantics, which up until recently was just your run-of-the-mill kind of fun, entertaining podcast released pretty much every Sunday, with a decent amount of followers and subscribers, and something that we enjoyed doing and people enjoyed listening to or watching. Obviously, I explained for the audio listeners who we are. Video watchers, people on YouTube, can see who we are, and can equally see something which I'm gobsmacked you haven't mentioned yet, the fact I'm sporting a 1940s moustache currently.
Sam, I was getting round to it, mate.
Sorry.
I was getting round to it. I mean, I think one of the things that makes us, number 22 in the top 50 Sunday podcasts in the UK is that we are not ashamed to sport, facial and physical, attributes that we are only doing because I don't think anyone would wear a moustache such as you're wearing now. In fact, I know you wouldn't, because it does make you, it does. I mean, I know you're wearing it for work purposes, and it does make you, if you can't see Sam, it does make him look like a dashing 1940s, RAF pilot about to, fly a Spitfire, or a 1970s porn star. Take your pick. Yeah. I'm leaning towards the porn star, but it's only because he's called me old and fossilized.
Yeah, there we go. So what we've done is our usual intro to a brand new season where we alienate people and get rid of the people that have arrived here by mistake. So that out of the way, let's go back to what we were actually talking about, which is the fact that we've been off the air for a little bit, about 6 or 7 weeks, I think. Was
something like that, mate. Yeah,
mid-season, in between season break thing. We're back. It's summer, and we were surprised and thrilled to receive a message a couple of weeks back to let us know that we have been featured in FeedSpot, which is a massive website and company, in their top 50 UK podcasts, specifically Sunday podcasts in the UK. And yes, as you said, we are number 22. So thank you, FeedSpot, for featuring us. We won't let fame go to our heads just yet. And we'll focus more on this than the fact that we weren't nominated for the UK Podcast Awards. We're not going to go into that one.
Don't go there. Don't go there, Sam. Don't go there.
Nonetheless, it's lovely to get a bit of recognition. We've also had some recent sponsorship bits come in, which you lot out there listening and watching may well have seen, because obviously they're part of the thing. So if something comes up and you like the sound of it, do have a cheeky buy or get involved,
Absolutely.
or subscribe, or we do sometimes advertise other podcasters as well. So if we've advertised someone, please give them a listen, because we only put stuff in there that we genuinely believe in and we actually think is good. So yes, if you've heard or seen any adverts attached to our podcasts, they're there for a reason. Feel free to engage.
And it has to be said, Sam, sorry to interrupt you there, it has to be said that, getting to that number 22 spot, we do have to thank our fabulous guests that appear with us every other week. We've had some great guests on, as Sam said, who also, some of them also have podcasts of their own. So go back, have a look into the archives, and then have a listen to those guys, because they're great stuff. But we do have to, thank our guests who have helped two bitter and twisted actors to lift Drewling Samantics to that number 22 spot. I'm loving number 22.
Yeah,
but yeah,
lucky
thank you.
number 22.
Yeah,
combined with brand new number 16, our 16th season.
Fantastic.
And you may ask, how have you found enough content to fill 15 other seasons, and why are you still going now? And the answer to that, we don't really know, actually.
I don't know.
But it is mainly down, as Drew said, to our incredible guests. And we have a fabulous lineup of guests for you this season, a few queued up. But as always, we do have a few more spaces. So if there are people out there listening who believe they would be a good guest, please reach out to us. You can contact us. Our email is drewlingsamantics@gmail.com. You can also find us on various social media. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we are on Twitter or X, or whatever you want to call it these days. So reach out to us however you see fit. Also, I believe, and Drew, you won't necessarily know much about this because it's technologically involved, but I think you can text us from the podcast description. I think there's a link in there. There's a message. I think we've had a couple previously, but feel free to try that out and make sure it works. We haven't had one for a little while, mainly because we've been off the air. But yes, so there are lots of ways of getting in contact. So if you believe you are or would make a fantastic Drewling Samantics guest, we probably believe you would as well. So do reach out. Equally, if there are people that you would like to see, or probably more specifically, certain areas of the industry, we cover as much of our wonderful industry as we can, from modelling and film to TV to theatre to the other side of things, to people that work with cameras, people that do directing, people that run venues, people that coach and encourage people to learn the arts, all sorts of different things, makeup, hair, stunts. There's a million different things.
There's loads.
Comedy, etc. But if you think we've either missed an area, or there was an area that we spoke to someone in that you found particularly interesting and would like to hear more about it, again, reach out to us, let us know, because we are only as good as our listeners. So this podcast is only successful because of you lot out there. So if there's certain things you want to see, then absolutely we want to tick those boxes, and we want to achieve what you want us to achieve. Does that sound a bit of a like?
No, I think that's brilliant. I think I might have a T-shirt with that printed on. Now, Sam, I mean, as you said, we've been away 6-7 weeks. You have been busy. I've been busy. What have you been up to whilst we've had our little break? What have we been contributing to the world of?
Yes, exactly. So we, as I said, we are jobbing actors, which means we don't just sit here once a week and have a moan and a groan and take the piss out of one another. We actually do some work as well. And I've had a busy, what do you call it? Sort of a late spring, I guess, is the kind of period, because we've hit summer now. We're
someone called that period the other day, and it made me smile, because it sounds reasonably disgusting, but actually they call it spummer, which I'm not so sure. I know. I don't think I ever want to say that word again. No. But someone said, "Oh, we're in the middle of spummer," and I thought, "Yeah, I'm not." It's a new season to the year. I have no idea, because it was so bloody hot. We had that week of hot weather and heat waves, and someone said, "Oh, it's spummer," and I went, "No." And I've now said that far too many times, so let's stop there. But anyway,
well, it's been really warm, hasn't it?
Beautiful,
and as a result, it's been quite sweaty. So could you say we've had a moist spummer? You know, when I
Now,
said we alienated some people, we've just lost a few more now.
everyone's gone now. There's just you and me sitting here with our moist spummer.
Yes.
That's a fabulous. I'm going to write that down in it. But yeah, so yes, what were you doing during spummer, Sam?
Yes. So I've been doing lots of things. I've been very lucky. I've done some commercial work. I've done some film work. I've done a bit of modelling. I've done some voiceover. So I'm really lucky that I've had a great variety to 2026. It's been hugely successful, busier than I could have possibly imagined, and I'm thrilled for it. And genuinely, indebted to anyone that I've worked with and that's given me these opportunities. Equally, little bit of a blow your own trumpet. I've worked really fucking hard, so it's
good.
Yeah.
Good.
Oh, and just to note again, anyone new, we do swear. If that's not for you, you probably should bugger off as well, because that's not going to change. So there we go. We've now, if we hadn't lost everyone, now we have lost everyone. So that's good. So we'll just continue talking as if it's just the two.
Yes, that one person sitting there listening. Thank you. Hang on in there. Yeah.
And we know who it is. It's Neil, who was on the podcast, because he's the only one who's listened to all of them. No, I'm sure there are plenty of others, but
I've been busy as well, which is lovely. But you went on tour though, didn't you? Before we move on to
So that's I was going to say I've been really lucky. I've done lots of different things, but one of the big chunks of work I've done this year was for the brilliant Reflex Theatre. So long-term listeners will know that I'm on the board of directors for a company called Reflex Theatre, a creative company that do different kinds of theatre, some immersive stuff, some brand new writing, some work in progress stuff, and also some educational bits and corporate stuff. But particularly what we were doing this time was a third iteration of a play called Call Me John, which has some very close personal connections because it's fully based on a true story about Callan Durrant, who is the creative director and a friend of the podcast, was on very early doors, second or
long
third
time ago, bless him.
Samantics. So go back and listen, because Callan's brilliant and full of energy and very, very intelligent and witty and brilliant at what he does. But he runs Reflex Theatre, and the story is based on a true story about his dad and his dad's granddad, or his great-grandfather, and their relationship. And the play sort of covers the fact that the gulf between generations is growing bigger and bigger and bigger, and with technology and things like that, older generations can feel isolated or can feel there isn't that sort of communication. And this play has been done a couple of times. We did, first time it was a couple of shows, second time it was 4 or 5 shows. And this most recent tour, we did about 18 dates. So it was the final kind of outing in its state. Whether it'll go on to other things, we're not sure yet. We need to look at how that works. But it was a larger scale tour covering a couple of counties, mainly in the east of England. And because the play is about a grandfather and a grandson, the younger part is basically covers his age from maybe about 13, 14 up to his 30s. The older part is sort of from early to mid 80s to 90s. So as anyone can tell from seeing me, and people that know me, or you can probably get an impression, I am nowhere near either of those age groups. So as much as I would have loved to be in the show, or even understudying either of the roles, I'm about 30 years too young and too old simultaneously, maybe even a bit more either way. So I couldn't perform in it. But Callan basically gave me an opportunity to do something I haven't done a lot of before, basically done none of before, which was to be the tour manager. So I was running logistics, I was running communication, I was working with the venues, I was working with the travel side of things, and doing all sorts of different things, which, yes, isn't what I'm used to. I'm a performer at heart. I'm a musical theatre performer primarily. I do lots of other stuff as well. So to be the other side of it was an entirely new experience, but a hugely, hugely valuable one, because it gave me the opportunity to see things from the other side, gave me a better understanding and perhaps a better appreciation of what people that do this regularly actually have to go through and work out, and kind of how much pressure there is and how much there is to that role. But overall, it was great working that side. I mean, I did some tech stuff. People that know me and I actually trained in post-production years and years and years ago, and then got bored of that and decided I'd be better off being a clown in front of the camera rather than using things behind it. So I got to go back to my roots and do a bit of light and sound. I did a lot of setting up, a lot of driving, loads of different little jobs that you wouldn't necessarily initially associate with performance, but actually are very much involved. And it was, yeah, as said, really, really valuable experience. Really loved it. Huge thanks to Callan and the company for allowing me to take on the role. And to Callum and Tim Nixon, who we know been on the podcast,
Absolutely.
the two actors who put up with me and just basically were brilliant the whole way through. So a really great experience for my spummer. Yeah, well, as part of my spummer.
So sorry I heard that word.
Yes, yeah. Well, you started that, so yeah. But yeah, so that was me. Lots and lots of varied stuff. A bigger tour, doing something I've never really done before, but hopefully did all right at and really enjoyed. Go, Drew. You hit us with what you've been up to as well, mate.
Well, I've done two projects. One was another guest from the podcast, Tom Neal, had with the writer Henry Dorr. They have written a new musical about the life of Kenneth Williams called Kenny.
Oh, yes, of course, yes.
Yeah, which is so far out of my comfort zone that I thought I've got to do it.
Yeah, for people just joining us for the first time, as I just said, my background is musical theatre. That is my thing. You couldn't really be much further from musical theatre. It's not your thing. I mean, you can sing and you do obviously do theatre, but it's not top of your choice list normally.
I no, because I've never had great. This is probably a conversation for another day, but I've never had great confidence in working with within that sphere. I was put off singing. Or had my confidence dented a short while after leaving drama school. So I've never really, and that was a bloody long while ago, and you would have thought I got over it by now. I have done shows, I've sung in shows, I've sung in panto, I've done, but to do a musical, a proper musical, to be in it, and to work within that sphere, I learnt an awful lot doing this job. And I was grateful to it, and I would now do another musical. Still wouldn't call myself a musical theatre performer, but I would feel confident in doing a musical, which is great. It's talk. And I played Kenneth's father, Charlie Williams, who, I think everyone knows how the sad life that Kenneth had, or the strained life he had. He loved his mother. And she loved him. His father never wanted him to be a performer. He was never at home with his son being gay. That was a word, homosexual was a word that would never enter Charlie's world. He was, he was a man's man. He'd been in the army. He was a barber. He worked, he went down the pub at night. He was, in those days, in the 50s, 60s, a man's man. And he couldn't bear his son. And all Kenny ever wanted to do was make his mum and dad proud. All he ever wanted to do. Within that, he didn't know how to do that. He made money. Kenneth made money. And he was enormously successful. He always just wanted to be, he wanted to be a classical actor, of the Richard Burton level in films and Olivier on stage, What he actually became was a wonderful comedy actor, one of the best we've ever produced. He was in the Carry On movies, which are just my favourite film franchise of any. And he was just a national treasure. So the musical was a celebration of him. It was an exploration of his family life and why that took him, how that affected him. And also it dealt a lot with his diaries. Before we did the musical, I knew nothing about his father. I knew he had a wonderful relationship with his mum. But the musical dealt with that, and I had a lovely song in it, which gave me many sleepless nights in preparing it, learning it. Sam, and people who have listened to the podcast before will know that my wife is an enormously talented singer. She's also a wonderful vocal coach. So I was, sat down, kicking and screaming, and sing the bloody song, do it like this. And God bless her, how she's got the patience. And we're still married, I don't know, because I drove her nuts. But I did it. I was very proud to do it. We performed in Uppingham, which is in Rutland, where Henry lives. Tom had composed the music. Henry had written the lyrics in the book. And we did just 2 performances as a tryout. We did 2 sellout shows, which was fabulous, in this beautiful school with wonderful facilities, and they were so welcoming and so helpful to getting it on. It is now it's now out there for Henry's looking for producers or angels or whatever, and that is an ongoing journey. So yeah, I hope, fingers crossed, it does have another life somewhere, because it is a very good musical. Obviously, it will have changes and whatever, but we did it, and we worked with a lovely guy called Wink Taylor, who is a wonderful Kenneth. He's played Kenneth in several iterations before, but not only does he look scarily like him when he walks on stage, he walked on and the audience just went, oh, they just couldn't believe it. It is scary. He turned the corner. It was like, bloody hell, you look like him. He sounds like him. So we had a great time doing that. Wow. And I'm really glad I stepped out of my comfort zone. I'm really glad I did it. I was probably the most nervous I've ever been before doing the matinee performance. I stood there, and if someone had said, it's all right, you don't have to do it, you can go, I'd have gone, thank you, and run. Thank you, going. But I did. And to anyone who is scared of anything, of stepping outside they can't do it, please do it.
And nerves are a good thing. We've discussed this numerous times. I am a big believer that if you have no nerves whatsoever before doing something, it probably means you don't care enough about it.
Yeah, you're not thinking about it. I agree, Sam. I agree.
I mean, fair play to people that can completely separate themselves. I'm not saying it's a blanket, everyone is exactly the same, but I know I get nervous because I'm worried, concerned. I want something to go well. That's why I get nervous, because I want the outcome to be good. Yeah. If you're not nervous, maybe it means you're just not invested enough. And again, it's not across the board, but
no. So, but we finished that on the Saturday, came home on the Sunday, and then started rehearsing Three Billy Goats Gruff. With
slightly different show, that
slightly different. We were at the old Watermill, our little venue. So whilst I was away doing the show, rehearsing this, we had a week's rehearsal up in Uppingham, and then we did the 2 shows. I was writing the script for Three Billy Goats Gruff. Tom, who was the composer, and very much like you, he was playing the show, but he was playing the keyboard during the show. He also wrote all the backing tracks that we used for it, the click tracks. He lit the show and did the sound on it. He was brilliant. We had lovely MD Christopher Peters, and John Hewer was the director, who was amazing. So we just a little sort of hat tip to them. But yeah, we came back. Tom joined us as Big Billy Goat Gruff. I was Little Billy Goat Gruff, and not necessarily the youngest, just the smallest. And Verona was Middle Billy, and we did our show for half term. So we rehearsed a week, did the show 4 days, 12 shows. And again, we had a lovely week. It's very interesting because our first day, 3 sellout shows, and it just shows how vulnerable theatre is, because the old Watermill is on a main road going through Luton, Bedfordshire to Bedford, the A6, and the particular stretch is rural road, and people drive like bats out of hell down there. And there's been campaigns for many a long year. The highways agency don't want to deal with it. Bedfordshire Council with it. There were 2 crashes, very serious accidents. They had to shut the road off, and we had to cancel 2 shows, 2 sellout shows. The only thing then was, so we sat around going, when's the road going to be open? Can we do this show? So we basically sat around ready to do the shows. We had to cancel them, but thankfully, all the audience rebooked for other shows.
Oh, fabulous.
I think we had to do obviously some people couldn't make it, and it wasn't their fault. I think we had to do a few refunds, but in the end, we kept our audience. But it just shows how vulnerable theatre is. It's totally out of our control.
Can't it? I mean, I've done pantomime shows, or not done, as the case may be, where the weather has basically stopped because
Absolutely, Sam.
it's
Yeah.
not safe for people to travel, and it's sort of a kick in the dick because you're there, the cast are there because you all stay local and you're ready and raring to go, and people are desperate to go, but it's just not safe.
Not going to happen.
So many instances like that, aren't there? I mean, as people probably mostly know, that this podcast started in lockdown because we couldn't be out performing, so we had to find an alternative option to do something creative, as many people did. So, as you say, it's hugely vulnerable, the arts, but also hugely resilient.
Well, yes. I mean,
find a way.
You know, we're lucky that the management at the watermill and their marketing department stepped in, made the phone calls, made the emails, and people. And that was nice to know that our following there were loyal and said, no, we'll come and we want to see the show. So that was lovely. So we did in the end have 12 very good shows. And again, it was one of those moments where I came back from doing a musical where I'd just been doing the musical as an actor, and then that week started, and we were directing and writing it ourselves. I was building the set, Verona was doing costumes and the admin, and it came about. Tom was very, very kind and sort of did a little bit of sound on it for us, and so but it was literally sort of the three of us, three Billy Goats Gruff, and we did it like an open stage. So we did the music as well. So you would see us press a music cue, and then we were doing sound effects. Tom was playing an accordion, and then we were playing various percussions, and so people saw us create that. So it was great. It was good fun. Yeah, it was a nice and we Verona came up with an idea. So wouldn't it be great if the bridge was a seesaw? And we built a bridge and it became a seesaw. So we took the blocks out at one point, and there was Tom and I giving our best Cirque du Soleil up and down on this seesaw. It was the audience, the kids loved it. But it was one of those moments where you go, can we do this? And then a friend of the watermill made this seesaw for us. We knocked it up in a couple of hours. This guy, Tony, and myself, stuck it in the rehearsal room and went, there's your seesaw. What are we going to do? Yeah. But it was great fun. A little bit of sort of, a little bit like the business, it's up and down. It's up and down, mate, But yeah, particularly during spummer, I find.
Yes. I mean, it perhaps seems a little self-indulgent for us to sit here and go, what have you been up to? What have you been doing? But as sort of mentioned previously, we do it to kind of demonstrate the fact that, yes, we may have a podcast. Yes, we may have a fairly large following, but there's no pretension to any of this. We are out there working. We're out there being proper jobbing actors. We are not famous. We're not, well, you're sort of famous, but we won't go into that because we nearly made it through one episode without mentioning King Einstein.
You did it. I never said a thing. Never said a thing.
Yeah, who's Einstein? You've seen the Einstein ads about the bloody what are they? Electricity meter thing, smart meter things.
Smart meters.
Annoying little bastard with the frizzy hair. It's him, and it's always on TV. Always. I can't turn on the bastard TV without seeing you dunking biscuits and picking up quiches or whatever the bloody hell it is.
Filming another one soon, mate. But there you go.
Of course you are. Of course you are. But yes, that aside, we're not household names. We're not that are out there earning millions doing movies. We'd like to be. So if anyone's listening,
yes, if anyone's listening, yeah.
But we started the podcast, number one, because it was locked down and because we were grumpy that we couldn't do stuff, and because we wanted to publicise and to give a voice to people that do what we do, but equally do lots of other things in the industry. But the ones that don't have huge social media teams and do a lot of promo and are super famous, and those of us that are really working bloody hard, not that they're not working hard, of course they are, but grinding away with little to no sort of recognition. And this isn't a woe is me, because we fucking love it. It's great, but it's just showing that other side, and that's why we talk about uh, doing a big scale tour and then doing other little bits, doing commercials and then doing stuff that no one's ever heard of, doing a musical which could go on to huge heights, and equally then doing a fairly local kids show. So these different levels, but it's all part of what we do, and we do it because we love it. And as if you're new and joining us, as you'll discover by listening to the episodes with our guests and hearing what they have to say, they bloody love it as well. Whether they are sat there writing scripts or setting up lights or doing people's makeup or telling stories and being funny and acting and take whatever you're doing, no one really is in the industry because they had no choice or because it's just kind of what they've done, and they you have to love it to be in it, really.
Yeah,
And
and the other thing, you can walk away at any time, and but very few actors do. That love it. They will hang in there, and it is tenacity and hard work, but it's also a passion for what we do. And I think it is that passion, and it's those people that have great passion that, as Sam said, that you don't necessarily know about. We love to hear about people such as that. We love to have people on the podcast to show what they do, and people go, "Oh wow, I didn't know that." I don't know about you, Sam, but I've learned so much from talking to other performers and other creatives. And you do go, and as you say, we all learn, and I've put some of what I've learned into my work. I've used that knowledge. Because there's no other way of going forward. Every day I learn something new, and that's that in itself is so rewarding.
Yeah.
So
the thing is, we do what we do because we love it.
Yeah,
there is no other reason. We are just very fortunate that we also make a living from it.
Yes, I think you're right.
It's not a far cry from people that do amateur performance and have a job to have an income. We've just managed to combine the two.
Yeah.
And I think fame is a possibility in what we do, but it is very much never guaranteed and actually quite rare. And I think the amount of people that get into doing performance for the fame is very, very small percentage now, I think.
I mean, you do stick yourself up there to be shot down, and also you're likely to be disappointed if you're looking for fame. You'll be very disappointed. I mean, again, people who are new to us, hopefully you are. Sam and I do a lot of interactive dinner theatre, and we get to chat to the guests afterwards a lot of the time, and to know that you sent someone away who has had a wonderful night. Very often we hear people say, "Oh, I haven't laughed like that in ages." That's rewarding. To know you've had that effect on them. They won't remember us in a month's time, but the next day they'll go and say, "Oh, what did you do at the weekend? We went to see this show. We had an amazing time." Blah blah blah. That is so rewarding to know that you drive home after the gig, a couple of hours drive in the dark and the rain, and you think, "Actually, I made a lot of people very happy tonight."
Yeah.
That is so rewarding. If that's my legacy, I'm very happy with that. You know what I mean?
Exactly that. Just need to earn a penny more than I can spend, and then I'm all good.
Oh, I love that. Yes.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it's a Del Boy line, isn't it? Isn't it from Fools?
I think it might well be. Yeah.
But,
Mr. Trotter.
But yes, so that is us. We are Drewling Samantics. Thank you so much for tuning in today. If you've been with us a long time, then thank you for your service.
Yes, thank you very much.
Your commitment. If you are new, then please stick with us because, as mentioned, we will have some fabulous guests over the next 12 or so weeks, including a bloody brilliant guest next week, Drew. The first one,
absolutely.
Someone who genuinely we've been trying to get on the podcast for a little while, and I think our audience are going to absolutely love.
I do, mate.
Real talent, and very, very interesting person. So looking forward to that. And then equally, there'll be the episodes where it's just us. We'll talk about what's going on in the news from an entertainment perspective. We do things like award shows. We don't do them. We talk about the ones that are in existence and anything that's sort of relevant to the industry. Equally, if there are subjects that you would like to hear us weigh in on or discuss and do a bit of research into, because sometimes we even do some homework, then again, please do reach out to us and say, I think it would be good if you talked about this, because we do love to sort of meet demand and do the things you want us to do. But we will equally always have plenty to talk about, not just our own work, but work that's going on around us and things that are rapidly changing in the industry, because it is a rapidly changing world.
Particularly nowadays, it's moving very quickly.
We've talked about AI a lot. We will continue to talk about AI a lot because it is influencing and affecting our industry quite a lot. We know it's affecting everyone, but we particularly feel it because this is the world we're in. But yeah, so if you've not enjoyed today, fuck off. We don't need you if you don't enjoy it. No,
I would say come back, we might get better. But that's a hard line, Sam.
I don't know. I'm just.
Or were you talking to me? Well, yeah, that was what
Well, yeah. I mean, I say that to you more often than not, so it's not a problem.
Yeah.
But no, we'd love you to come back if you're new. If you're still here, then obviously my swearing and Drew being old doesn't offend you too much. So because nothing's going to change with either of those things.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
This foul mouth is untamable, I think, unfortunately. But it's a pleasure to be back, mate.
Absolutely,
your
mate.
Lovely face.
Brilliant.
I hope everyone out there has enjoyed us being back as much as we're enjoying being back. Make sure you do tune in next week, whether that's on YouTube to see our lovely faces, or if you just want us in your ear holes, whichever one you prefer. I know I'm going off again, and it's not going to go well. That's why I'm trying to wrap things up before I really.
I know. Yeah, before it gets any
not
worse.
Been cancelled yet, but there's still plenty of time. So yeah, come back next week, meet our first guest of season 16, and then continue tuning in for the rest of the summer, for the next 15 weeks for this season, and then onwards from there, because we're just going to continue bringing you a load of rubbish and a load of fun stuff and everything in between and around that. So, until then, lovely week, everyone, and you
enjoy your spummer.
Yeah, what's left of it. I know we're in summer now, aren't we? So
we're in summertime now. I've got to stop saying that now. Yeah.
Please.
I will.
Please. Yeah. Until then, have a good one all. See you later.
Take care, everyone. Yes. Bye-bye.
Thanks again for watching this episode of Drewling Samantics.
Please make sure you subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so you never miss a new video.
Don't forget, we're also available as audio only. Just search Drewling Samantics in any good podcast app. And please support us on social media. All our links and handles are on screen now.
We love welcoming new followers and subscribers, so why not share with your family and friends so they can join in too? Thanks very much. See you next time.